Meteorologist Colleen Campbell is here, and we've seen a lot of lightning in the area today.
Yeah, the energy is just really charging up the atmosphere. So in the upper levels of the atmosphere, that's why we have so much lightning, because there's a lot going on up there. Usually when we look for a tropical system, we look for more organization at the surface. So this is really something that we're inspecting in the upper levels of the atmosphere, and that's why I believe we have seen so much lightning, because there's just a lot of energy. So here's satellite radar. You can see that low pressure system spinning off the coast here, but it's not a tropical low. It really is having a hard time taking on those tropical characteristics because of what we have going on in the upper levels. We don't just look at one slice of the atmosphere. We look at the surface all the way up. So that's what's happening here. Also, when you see this dashed line, that is associated with a trough, which also has to do with the upper levels of the atmosphere. So that's why we have so much lightning still working through the Big Bend area. Here closer to home, we do have some lightning that's offshore, but most of our storms that we saw earlier today are over and done with for tonight. We will have a couple more rounds as we move throughout the weekend, and that's why we're keeping those weather impact alerts in place. So here's radar. Again, we have some mist, some drizzle, an isolated downpour, not out of the question, but the bulk of that heavy rain event, as well as those strong storms now moving off the coast. And remember, lightning does not qualify a storm as severe. You have to have winds that are 58 miles per hour or greater, and hail that's about the size of a quarter or about an inch in diameter for a severe thunderstorm warning to be triggered. Now, of course, we know lightning is very dangerous, but that does not qualify it as a severe thunderstorm warning. I do want you to be aware that if you are out and about and you can hear thunder or see lightning, you are close enough to get hit by lightning. So please be careful. Not the best weekend to be outside. Just play it by ear. Keep checking with us with the streaming. Here's Futurecast going into tonight. This is our in-house model. Look how dry it is. At the beginning of the show, I showed you the high-resolution model, which is always a little bit more enthusiastic, giving us some rain. It's a high-resolution model. This model usually is a little bit more aggressive too, but at 8 o'clock tonight, we are very dry. Just a couple clouds with us, some humidity. But here we go into tomorrow. Once again, look at this. With that wind that's coming in from the south and sometimes from the west, we have those storms that will start up closer to the coast once again. So this is tomorrow at 5 a.m. just outside of Bradenton, Sarasota, some storms. Here we go into the afternoon now, starting to see those outer bands brush up against the area. And again, when I say outer bands, these are not tropical outer bands. This is just associated with that broad area low pressure. Moving forward into tomorrow evening, a couple downpours as well. So you'll notice not as much widespread rain as we were originally expecting, but we're still keeping those weather impact alerts in place because some of that rain will come down very heavy at times. The atmosphere is just loaded with moisture. Here we are on the European model. The European and the GFS for once are in a better agreement with one another, where they really want to keep this low pressure very broad, meaning that it's not very organized, and they want to have it kind of just hug the Big Bend area. What that would do is, of course, bring us better rain coverage across our area, because that means better rain closer to this low pressure system, closer to home. Here we are going into Sunday. It starts to drag it out toward the panhandle a little bit, so the GFS and the Euro are pretty aligned with that. Looking at the forecast rainfall with the Euro, you'll notice that the rainfall totals have really pulled back. They did increase a little bit closer to the Big Bend area, but look at this. Remember, originally we were looking at the European and it had about 7 to 9 inches of rain. That's still possible in an isolated downpour. But overall, these models are saying, I think 1 to 3 inches for the next 3 days. Now, here's our in-house model. This is the wild card. This is a totally different setup than the GFS and the Euro are playing out. This model usually is a little bit more aggressive, but it also has that storm moving out to the west. If that were to occur, that means less rain for us. So, and it does have it out in the Gulf. Would it actually turn tropical in this situation? It could, at least a tropical depression. Lower wind shear over the warm water, moving westerly. The important message here is it's moving away from us. So that would actually give us less rain Sunday and Monday. So if that situation plays out, you may see these weather impact alerts dropped or changed, trimmed back for Sunday and Monday. So you got to keep checking in with us for the forecast. Overall, no matter what, the big threat here would be the rain, the heavy downpours, and the flooding.